Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Canada Immigration. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we will talk about Canada moves quickly to close immigration loopholes and pathways. In response to growing concerns over the potential misuse of immigration policies, Canada is taking swift action to close loopholes and tighten pathways within its immigration system. The government aims to ensure that the system remains fair, efficient, and aligned with the country's economic and social goals. With immigration being a key factor in Canada's growth, these measures seek to balance welcoming new arrivals while maintaining the integrity of the system. If you are interested in this topic, watch the video to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. Canada is currently undergoing a significant transformation in its immigration policies, aimed at closing loopholes and tightening pathways that have allowed for the misuse of the system. Under the leadership of various Liberal immigration ministers, including Ahmed Hussein, Marco Mendicino, Sean Fraser, and the current minister, Mark Miller, Canada's approach to immigration has been highly dynamic. Among these leaders, Mark Miller has stood out for making difficult but necessary decisions, even when easier options were available. His actions signal a shift in Canadian immigration, reflecting the government's desire to protect the integrity of the system while also responding to both domestic and international pressures. As of now, Mark Miller continues to serve as the immigration minister, at least as long as the current Liberal government remains in power. However, with the political landscape shifting and public opinion polls suggesting a potential victory for the Conservative Party of Canada in the next federal election, Canada's immigration policies will likely undergo further changes. The CPC, known for its conservative stance, may introduce stricter immigration rules, although it is worth noting that the party originally designed the express entry system, one of the most successful immigration pathways in Canada. If the CPC comes to power, its focus could shift toward tightening borders and reducing the number of immigrants, which would have significant implications for future immigrants and existing residents alike. Closing of immigration pathways and loopholes. In recent months, the Canadian government has made a series of changes aimed at restricting certain immigration pathways and closing loopholes that have allowed for the exploitation of the system. One prominent example is the cancellation of the temporary resident to permanent resident pathway, which was briefly introduced during the COVID-19 pandemic to provide a quick route to permanent residency for temporary workers. Despite the hope that it might be reinstated, the government has shown no intention of bringing it back. This is in line with a broader trend of shutting down easy routes to residency, as the administration focuses on ensuring that the immigration system is fair and not susceptible to misuse. Another significant policy change was the implementation of the 75 Comprehensive Ranking System draw, which allowed many low-scoring candidates to secure permanent residency. While the draw helped thousands of people, it also caused frustration for those who were unable to secure a spot. The government's decision to limit draws and reduce the number of invitations, particularly for provincial nominee programs, has further narrowed the opportunities for immigrants. With PNP allocations being slashed by 50 to 60% for 2025, provinces like Alberta, Ontario, and British Columbia will likely see fewer invitations and higher scores required for selection, leaving many hopeful immigrants in limbo. These policy changes reflect a broader strategy to control the flow of immigrants into the country and ensure that only those who meet stringent criteria are allowed in. Provinces that operate on a first-come, first-served basis, such as Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, are expected to fill their quotas quickly, leaving many prospective immigrants without options. This tightening of immigration pathways aligns with the government's desire to maintain control over who enters the country, prioritizing high-skilled workers while making it more difficult for others to navigate the system. Express entry and provincial nominee programs. The express entry system, a hallmark of Canada's immigration process, has also seen significant changes. Recent draws have focused more on applicants with provincial nominee program nominations, which provide an additional 600 points, effectively guaranteeing an invitation. However, with the pool of high-scoring candidates increasing rapidly, the chances for those without PNP nominations have diminished. As of mid-December, there were over 20,000 profiles with scores between 501 and 600 in the pool, creating fierce competition for a limited number of invitations. The government has also revamped its immigration website, making it easier for applicants to navigate, though this does little to alleviate the pressure faced by those in the pool. The current pool breakdown, with an overwhelming number of candidates in the high-scoring range, reflects the growing challenges of securing an invitation through express entry, especially as the number of draws decreases and scores remain elevated. The focus on PNP nominations and the competitive nature of the express entry pool have created a more challenging environment for immigrants. As the government continues to prioritize high-skilled workers and those with PNP nominations, many applicants with lower CRS scores or fewer qualifications may find it increasingly difficult to secure an invitation. This shift represents a significant change in Canada's immigration landscape, as the country seeks to control the quality and quantity of immigrants entering through its system. Legislative changes and asylum claims. Another major area of focus for the Canadian government has been asylum claims. The number of asylum claims in Canada has exceeded 200,000, with processing times averaging over 4 years. To address this backlog, the government has introduced legislative changes aimed at quickly identifying and rejecting illegitimate claims. Many of these claims are made by international students and temporary residents seeking to extend their stay in Canada, often under false pretenses. By revamping the asylum process, the government hopes to root out fraudulent claims and ensure that only legitimate asylum seekers are granted protection. In addition to asylum claims, Canada is also working to enhance its ability to suspend, revoke, or cancel applications even after they have been submitted. This is particularly important in cases of fraud, where applicants use fake documents or falsified information to gain entry into the country. A recent scandal involving 10,000 fake acceptance letters used by international students to obtain study permits has highlighted the need for stricter controls. By granting immigration officials more authority to cancel fraudulent applications, Canada is sending a clear message that dishonesty will not be tolerated. The introduction of these legislative changes marks a significant shift in how Canada handles asylum claims and fraudulent activity. The government's emphasis on identifying and eliminating fraud is aimed at maintaining the integrity of the immigration system, ensuring that only those who genuinely meet the requirements are allowed to stay. This approach aligns with the broader trend of tightening immigration pathways and closing loopholes to prevent the misuse of the system. Flag polling and border control. Another significant change in Canada's immigration landscape is the impending end of flag polling, a practice used by temporary residents to extend their stay by crossing the border into the United States and immediately returning to apply for a new permit. This loophole, though legal, has been a source of frustration for U.S. border officials, who must process these individuals even though they have no intention of entering the U.S. Canada's decision to stop flag polling is part of a broader effort to strengthen border control and reduce friction with the U.S., particularly in light of recent tensions over border security. While flag polling is still being accepted at some border crossings, such as those in Windsor and Montreal, it has already been discontinued at others, including Vancouver. The exact date when flag polling will be completely eliminated has not yet been announced, but prospective applicants are advised to check with border officials before attempting to use this method. This move to end flag policing is indicative of the Canadian government's efforts to tighten border controls and eliminate loopholes that allow individuals to extend their stay without going through the proper channels. By reducing the number of people using this method, Canada aims to streamline its immigration system and ensure that only those who follow the appropriate procedures are granted extensions or new permits. Changes to LMIA points in express entry. One of the most contentious recent changes to Canadian immigration policy involves the labour market impact assessment process. Until recently, applicants with an LMIA-based job offer could receive 50 or 200 additional points in the express entry system, giving them a significant advantage. However, the government has announced that LMIA points will no longer be awarded, citing concerns over fraud and abuse of the system. This change has sparked debate, as many believe that eliminating LMIA points will hurt genuine applicants who have secured legitimate job offers. Fraudulent activity, such as fake job offers and fraudulent foreign work experience, has been rampant in the LMIA process, leading to the government's decision. However, critics argue that rather than removing the points altogether, the government should focus on penalizing those who engage in fraud while preserving opportunities for honest applicants. The removal of LMIA points is expected to have a significant impact on the express entry pool, particularly for candidates who relied on these points to boost their scores. Without the additional points, many applicants may find it more difficult to reach the high CRS scores needed to secure an invitation. This could result in a lower overall cutoff score for future draws, providing opportunities for a wider range of candidates. Anticipation of lower CRS scores in 2025. With LMIA points removed and the express entry pool potentially shrinking, there is hope that CRS scores may drop in 2025, potentially breaching the 500 mark. This would provide opportunities for a broader range of candidates, particularly those with strong qualifications but without access to LMIA-supported job offers. As the Canadian immigration system continues to evolve, the removal of LMIA points and other policy changes are likely to reshape the landscape for future immigrants. While these changes may make it more difficult for some to navigate the system, they also reflect the government's commitment to maintaining the integrity of the immigration process. Conclusion: Canada's immigration system is undergoing a significant transformation, driven by the need to close loopholes and tighten pathways that have allowed for the misuse of the system. Under the leadership of immigration ministers like Mark Miller, the government has introduced a series of changes aimed at controlling the flow of immigrants, prioritizing high-skilled workers, and eliminating fraudulent activity. While these changes may create challenges for prospective immigrants, they also reflect the government's desire to maintain the integrity of the system and ensure that only those who meet stringent criteria are allowed to stay. As the political landscape shifts and the Conservative Party of Canada potentially takes power, further changes to immigration policy are likely. The CPC may introduce even stricter rules, focusing on border control and reducing the number of immigrants. However, the impact of these changes remains to be seen, as Canada continues to balance the need for skilled workers with the desire to protect its immigration system from abuse. As Canada races to reform its immigration policies and close existing loopholes, the future of the country's immigration landscape will depend on how these changes are implemented. While the government's efforts are designed to protect the integrity of the system, the impact on prospective immigrants and the nation's economic needs remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is that Canada's approach to immigration will continue to evolve as it adapts to global challenges and domestic pressures. That is all for today. In this video, what are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.